It's feeling like spring, but I know we have one left of winter. So.
All right, Grace. Grace, so where are you from originally? Where did you grow up?
I'm from San Diego, California. I've been there my entire life. So
Tell me about your family.
my mom passed away when I was 1 from lung cancer, and my birth father is not in my life anymore. When my mom passed away, my father's drug use got really bad, and it got to the point where it was by I was like 2, I think. I had already had CPS reports. When my mom had me, she tested positive for drugs, and so immediately moved from her and placed with my dad. And after a while, they were still living and everything, but I was in his custody. And about maybe 1.5, she had passed away. And as time got farther along, my dad started getting worse in his addiction. Like it was almost like he was a completely different person after she passed away. Meth was like the main cause of his issue. I think it was also just the blame of like losing my mom. And he started to get really aggressive. And I remember one time he had gotten so violent that we got kicked out of our house that we lived in. When I was about 3, we got kicked out and we were living on the streets for a while. We were trash can driving for the longest time. And I have like visual memory of that, which is I was so young. There was one time where we were sitting in front of a 99-cent store at like 3 in the morning, and some random person came by and decided to pick me up and start running with me, just running down the street. And if that person wouldn't have stopped and dropped me, I don't know what would have happened because he was so high he didn't care. And eventually, after a while being on the streets, we moved into a boathouse. And most of my memories there were sitting on a top deck, just like bawling my eyes out because I was so hungry and so and what happened a lot of the time there was he would bring in prostitutes. A lot of the time he would go and find prostitutes and bring them there. And I remember just not wanting to hear this, not wanting to hear what was happening, but all the different types of abuse that he put towards me, which was mostly physical. There was sexual here and there, but it was mostly physical. And I ended up being in his custody till I was like 7 years old. So, yeah. Not regularly. I had to keep switching schools because I was between like CPS and foster houses and Linsky all the time. So I would switch schools, but I only missed, I got held back for 2 grades. I think it was like 2nd, 3rd, I think, but I got held back. So, and catching up when I'm older by moving up grades because I was doing so well in school.
How old are you now?
I turned 21 in a week.
So you're still young.
Yeah.
Have you just figured out at some point that you have borderline personality disorder?
Yeah. I was 17, I think, and I started noticing that I've always had this issue with relationships, whether it be dating, friends, whatever. I can't keep a solid relationship. It would always turn into, whether it was fighting or distance or anything like that, I couldn't maintain loving someone really close. From a distance, instead of very closely, it wouldn't happen. So I finally went to a psychiatrist and started talking to them, and they diagnosed me with BPD, ADHD, and depression. Which, I mean, is common. People that have BPD, they don't usually just have one diagnosis, and there's a bunch of factors into it. But I think the older you get, the more you kind of discover from the issues that you have, and that's personally what's happened with me. So.
What kind of things have you been through? Because of it.
I think I gravitate towards people that are not good for me. I think that's kind of the overall thing. I try and find people and fix them because I can't fix myself. And I have no example of like what a good, stable relationship is. So it takes a lot of time to understand someone for me. And I think I'm attracted to people who can represent my past, whether it be abuse or just anger issues, violence, and because it's comfortable for me. It's not healthy, but it's more comfortable than finding someone and just understanding immediately, oh, they're going to be good to you. They're gonna love you because they care, and they want to. And I've never understood that. That's probably one of the harder things for me, is I just don't understand that people can love you and there doesn't have to be repercussions to it.
You've been in love before?
Yeah. That's something about me, is I love people deeply, but because of my BPD, it causes me to split a lot of the time, which means I can love them 100%, feel on top of the world, and then I notice, like, as soon as they do one thing or something said, it immediately turns to, I hate this person. I don't want to be around this person. And I don't like that. I don't like that. I want to be able to love somebody unconditionally and love them even if they make mistakes. But because of how intensely I feel emotion, I'm not able to provide that at this time. Maybe it will get better, but it's hard.
You know, it can be hard to find a partner who understands that behavior.
Yeah, nobody understands, but I don't blame anyone. I don't blame my father. I don't blame anybody who's hurt me, because people can only love to the extent that they've been taught. And you can't expect somebody to love someone with all these issues when maybe they had completely different issues growing up, or none at all. They're never gonna get why little things make you mad, or why I can wake up one morning and just be angry for no reason. And so I feel really bad because I'll snap. I'll snap a lot of the time, like the littlest things, and I'll just ruin the rest of my day. But it's something I'm learning to kind of get a grasp on.
Are there any medications?
There's nothing that BPD directly. It's like treating the symptoms. Like a lot of people with depression take Lexapro. I tried that and it made me feel like a zombie. And so they put me on something with a higher dosage, something to increase serotonin, because a really common thing in people with BPD is that they don't have the right levels of serotonin in their brain. But there's nothing that treats it directly, unfortunately.
Have there ever been times where things have improved for you? Or is it just, it's always?
It's like having an angel and a devil on your shoulder. The angel, you really, really want to be that person, and you really want to be that person and like be good, but it's constant in the back of my mind.
So this is like an example of a diagnosis that we get and we have to make. at our private practice. And our ethical dilemma is that the insurance won't pay for us to see people that have borderline, with only borderline. So you have to have another primary diagnosis.
Why does the medication be making you feel worse than you feel?
Right. It can, yeah. So until they get it right, like sometimes they have to adjust your levels. You ever heard of that? Like they tested your bloodstream, and it does make you feel worse. Like they could overshoot the mark or they undershoot the mark, and it makes you worse. So that's one of the things you heard her say, and you're like, why would meds make it worse? It is weird. It's like, why would that even happen? So like this got the family history and like the very beginning. How she was brought up, her mom tested for drugs right away, her dad in custody, but then they both became homeless at 3. And one time it sounded like almost kidnapped, but then not.
The person let her go.
Right.
Dropped her.
So it's kind of an example. Genogram looks like talked about, like sometimes you do talk it out. How are you guys with genogram? How did it go for you all?
Oh, the ride was cool. It was smooth.
Yeah. Anyone else? Was it tough or how was it for you?
Because I'll be knowing everything already, so it's like come to a surprise to me.
Mhm.
So it'd be like,
Right.
but like I will forget or something. Because when I was talking to my auntie on my dad's side, I forgot half the stuff she was telling me.
Right. Yeah. Is it hot again? Okay. Yeah. Is it hot again? Okay. It was right on the borderline. And then I know we're supposed to have a cold front come through.
The weather, I don't know. The weather played too much.
It got weird.
About the summertime, yeah.
Right. How are your all's other classes going?
It's all right.
Remember when I told you I was about to drop a class? I got the second class for this.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
So you dropped it and then added number 2?
Yep.
What's it called?
Same class, just with 2.
Oh, it's child welfare 2.
Uh-huh.
Because you are allowed to take them out of work.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only social work class we have on term B. Are you guys all social workers?
Yeah.
I always forget. I feel like sometimes we get a psych major, but I can't tell.
Somebody said they was like,
Right. Yeah, because you're allowed to sign up if you want. Does this help with the window, or is it like, can you actually feel it all the way over there?
I can.
So with the genogram, what other questions do you guys have about it?
So like, if somebody in your family got something, how likely is it for it to come get to you?
Was it mom or dad, or is it like brother or sister, or is it more like your aunts and uncles?
Aunts and dad.
Aunts and dad? Which diagnosis?
And bipolar and stuff like that.
They are still studying to see if that connects, like if it's genetic. Anybody else find stuff with your genogram that you're like, whoa?
what about cousins? Because it was a cousin and my aunt. They had what do they call that? When it's hard for you to have a baby infertility problem.
Is that endometriosis? Where
Something
you like
like
grow a spider web in the womb? I've heard that before. It's almost like
that. My cousin again, see what the name of it was, but it's basically like when she tries to get pregnant, it's like something in her body won't allow her to keep the baby from forming.
yeah, I bet you it is endometriosis. So,
So that's so sad.
tell me if this looks right, because sometimes they have surgeries for it.
What is
Like you
endometriosis?
had a baby, you still have a
During the normal menstrual cycle, the inner lining of the uterus, called the endometrium, thickens and then sheds and is first. Endometriosis is a disorder where the endometrium is found growing on the outside of the uterus, ovaries, fallopian tubes, or intestines. This can cause debilitating pain, damaging inflammation, some infertility. I think endometriosis is a widespread condition affecting 200 million people with uteruses worldwide.
I don't know what my aunt has, but I know she has infertility.
Has she ever had a kid?
No,
Okay. How old is she?
50 something.
Okay, so she might not, yeah.
But I'm like, back in her younger days.
Right. Well,
She had issues, but
and sometimes they do the hysterectomy where you just remove the uterus.
that's what she had to.
And then pain like with that. Which, yeah, it's my sister-in-law had it, my brother and her had about my sister-in-law had it, my brother and her had about 6 conceptions, but no baby. Like it could grow half, it could grow. But it always, was blocked or died, and then they adopted 2. And it is, I feel like it almost ended the relationship, but they worked through it. You know what I mean? Because it's like,
Yeah, people really do 4 kids.
right, yeah,
That's
and
how
then
my cousin, she had, what is she? I think the first time she did it was with a man, but then she was like, I'm not doing that again. Because she said it was too much after they lost it. So she had got this friend on. And she carried this one for like 2 to 3 months and then she lost it.
oh, okay,
I'm like, is that?
right. So that's a good question. I feel like sometimes they give you different diagnosis. There's obviously a lot. I wondered if they had like pictures, because I've heard it looks like a spider web and it's like fibroids almost. So it blocks and
I think she said her doctor said her body doesn't produce enough sun, but it's like some medicine.
even like estrogen possibly, or let's see, I almost went to I can never spell it right. So
She was like, I don't know why I was like crazy because the baby or medicine. The child is too much.
it's common chronic inflammatory estrogen dependent gynecological disease that develops as a consequence of a combination of genetic predisposition and environmental factors. Kind of has women who have a mother, sister, or daughter with the disease have a higher risk, 7 times more likely. And but you're saying it was only your aunt.
My aunt and my cousin.
Okay. So it sounds like they're both related.
Mm-hmm.
How old is your cousin now? Is she already?
48.
Okay. Because she's trying to have a baby now?
Mm-hmm.
How is that working? Is it like?
That was, I want to say, in October-ish is when she did the sperm donor thing. And she only carried it until, no, it was
So is she married now? She just,
No.
okay.
She's by herself.
So she's just doing the sperm donor, and she has a good job, I guess, to pay or whatever. It is, yeah, so my brother and them adopted, you can do foster to adopt, but yeah, it is fun to have like that genetic connection. So it's, that's stuff that we get into. You don't want to be, you'd rather adopt. Right, or you can be an egg donor and then see if, right.
I want to know, but then I feel like I still want to have my own.
Right.
Experience it.
Yeah, to do both. Absolutely, it's your all's choice and the partner that you're with, because people, would you believe we're having a lower birth rate at, 1.6 for every 2 people, so actually our population's like that.
That's because people don't want kids for real no more.
Isn't that crazy?
And everything getting high, so like kids are expensive.
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
kids
Inflation.
right now is not there.
Inflation is real. I don't think the State of the Union address. You know, like, well, it's getting better. We promise. We will, you know, get better in the future. We promise. And it's definitely,
Yeah.
yeah, it kind of is. So I know we stopped.
You don't know what that.
What's that? It's, you know, a lot of things, but it makes us really respect what our moms went through. I guess, like, holy crap, they did all of that. Put up with our.
Biggest fear is postpartum.
What'd you say?
My biggest fear is postpartum.
You can sign it if you. It just blew right under the desk.
You want to try her name?
Yeah, you can all sign it. So yeah, in mental health, I would say the girl in that video we started the class with, it's crazy she remembers that, but traumatic events you're more likely to remember. So your first memory, what is your all's first memory? How old were you?
What for traumatic event?
Or first memory ever. Like mine actually was kind of a traumatic event, so I remember.
My first traumatic event is me in a car accident.
And you were young.
Yeah, I was 6.
Okay. Is that your first memory too, do you think?
What you mean?
Like first thing you ever remember out of any of your memories
As
ever?
a child.
No.
Usually 3 is your first memory. Like,
3 or 4.
yes. So what is the first thing you ever remember?
Playing basketball.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
What city again?
I'm from Dayton.
Okay. Okay.
So probably like the first time I ever put the ball between my legs.
Right, yeah. So I get 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's round your first memory.
I was 3 or 4, and I remember we took a trip to Chicago, and it was like around the 4th of July or on 4th of July. I had my red, white, and blue, everything with my little ruffle socks. I remember my uncle had brought me this big old lollipop I threw a fit for, and I remember walking on the pier, just letting my lollipop.
What was your first memory? I called you the word and then
When I went to Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese. Scared of it or like?
It was just fun.
Okay.
It was for my birthday.
High wind's coming. You getting blowed up, I want to distract the. So nothing, what about starting college? High school did you go to? And then what city?
I'm in Citro.
Hello. Mine was it took a pacifier away from me and I was all pissed off. They said they gave it to the raccoon at the zoo. I was like 3. My parents lied to me. That's why I'm all fucked up now.
I can honestly say all of his friends. Because in your friends,
I don't even remember your
So dreamy.
Oh, is it? Well, sometimes we're just not ready for college. Like when I first went, I literally failed out. Have I told you guys that story?
Mhm.
I had a 0.59 GPA halfway through my sophomore year, so I got put on probation. I had to declare academic bankruptcy. I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready to quit like partying, drinking, being with women. I wanted to like, run the streets and that, you know? I had to have dramatic events to be like, all right, I'm ready. And that it took probably the sophomore year halfway through. So I was like, you know,
I don't know.
When you be-
It feels so good on campus not doing nothing.
doing nothing.
Nothing.
Oh, because you used to try to do too much.
No, it feels nice out in life. There's no people.
Oh, because the first few weeks it's like crazy, you're saying. Well, usually, so, right. So if you're to find out if you want to do school or hate school or not, or like, myself, I'm to school, but the problem with me, I didn't really want to do school either. So I chose school. You can see it on my transcript. It's funny. It's to apply to this job, they want my transcripts. So I got to show them my one semester was WD, F, UW, withdrawals. I always joke it looked like a website, www.dfd.com. So luckily, I was able to declare academic bankruptcy so they get rid of all those grades. My 2.0 got me on probation, so I think I was like a 1.8. Quit drinking.
You had to take all those classes.
I had to go all of them. I had to pay for them again. That's what pissed me off.
Mm-hmm.
So took them all over. Was able to do like 2.5, 2.7, 2.9. I think I graduated with a 3.4, but I had to kick some just actually I worked like I wanted to be there. And I did do some like crappy jobs too. And I'm like, so do I want to push a shovel the rest of my life? I was like landscaping and working crappy jobs. I was a cook, I was a clerk. And I'm like, I want to do this. I want to do something that's different. Working enough crappy jobs that changes your mind. But the problem is sometimes we don't get so many times to do it over. Like at some point, like I have friends that did like I did, but then had the same skill and weren't able to get back in. I feel like they're more forgiving now. Have you guys seen it where they're like they are forgiving on some of the grades and enrollment and whatnot? But like to get back in.
Hey, I like Central Finesse a lot of us.
You think?
Like that.
Because everybody balances like 12 schools. They want money for everything. I'm not understanding it.
What are they charging
I
for?
feel like with our money, tuition money being applied to, it's not really applied to us. And then
Right.
scholarships is horrible. Them scholarships don't put it in nothing.
Right.
Scholarship that I got don't put it in nothing.
What do they call it? What are the different scholarships?
Well, I got from back home in Cleveland, this thing called College Now.
Mhm.
And I won a scholarship from writing an essay.
Okay.
But like, them two didn't do nothing.
Because is it not?
They're not doing nothing with it.
All I see is new police cars.
I did see all them new damn cars during the pandemic. It was like 10 brand new. You know how the license plates are new when you buy a car new. They all had the temporary tags, and it was like, no wonder it was. So we all had to take a pay cut of 5%. And I'm like, why do they have?
Like they built in a recreation center. And just no offense, but I feel like we already kind of got that. So to build another one and not like remodel the older dorms is kind of weird to me. Because the dorms, well, the like towels in the bathroom at Green Henderson are horrible. Like,
Interesting. Okay.
like they could like literally what the we give and pay every semester. I feel like we should have new towels put in.
I might. It might be up in my, actually, if they were cleaning out our office because it's, more like redoing it, you know where 311 is? Does anybody have a charger?
Yeah.
You're getting blown up, it buzzes so many times it dies. It's okay, I get in a fight with your significant other, you're like, no, I said, and then it dies, and it's like, great, I shouldn't have said nothing. No, the towels, I didn't even know that they did that.
Oh, they look terrible, like.
So why do they have, I'm just curious though, so you guys don't have to bring your own towels?
No, not like tile.
Like on the
Tile, okay,
I don't
sorry.
think you talk about like, no, a tile in the bathroom. like,
Right, I thought you said
wow.
they give you towels, I'm like, is this a hotel? I'm impressed.
I wish.
I
Okay.
wish.
Tiles
I
are
don't
nasty,
even think-
the tiles are nasty, right, okay.
They can at least get mattresses.
Are they all plastic, like storm mattress that you can piss on?
Mattresses, ghetto. You feel the spray.
Everything is good.
Are they plastic?
Yeah.
Well, so have you guys tasted the water?
I don't even drink the water.
Well, have you tasted it?
I don't want-
It's salty. Because I made coffee out of it, and the coffee was salty yesterday. So I poured it through the Brita today. I think it got some of it out. I was like,
It breaks me out.
it's salty. So
I
I don't know.
like CeraVe, so yeah.
What is
recommend
CeraVe?
you get that.
What is that?
It's to moisturize your skin. Like
Okay.
Dry skin.
Yeah, it's really good.
'Cause,
Okay.
this water will have your face look
I don't even
nice,
use
peeling.
Like sink water. Like I brush my teeth.
Notice
I
the
don't-
salt.
Like I don't use to like cook stuff. Like I don't.
I use
I use a water bottle to brush my teeth. I use a water bottle. Don't
But
I'm
because
gonna.
wild water is not like that in UPC, I kid you not.
What's
You mean like it's
ABC?
good water?
The newer buildings.
Do they have a
Not like
filter on it maybe?
that. I don't know, they have
Okay.
shower head, the showers look
That
nice.
could be why the pipes are new and it's not all rusty and nasty, but the pipes bring that. Or they have water softener.
I wonder if the honors apartments is like that.
Yeah, I was just.
No,
No,
I know apartments
honors.
is like that. They
Well,
they
anything
water
new
not-
is brand new pipes.
They water nice.
Yeah.
Not about the thought
Do the honors? So can you jump in like mid through?
And you can
apply.
you can apply to live in there.
Okay,
They use.
Yeah.
Get scholarship for honors too.
okay.
You go GP.
Yeah, it's so much that
They
they don't
doing
pay
stuff for
attention to.
show, and it's like, y'all got enough issues as these issues.
When I went to college, our only option was smoking or non-smoking dorms.
What?
I had an option.
It was nasty. We had an ashtray. Our ashtray was so filled up.
You can't.
Wait, you can't.
You're gonna get a funk.
Yeah, you can't smoke outside.
They be on.
So we had ashtrays that got so full of cigarette butts they would catch on fire. Like you put one in, forget to put out, like and it set off the smoke alarm.
You can't
Yeah,
smoke nowhere on this campus.
I didn't even.
They be
realize
ready to
that.
find you.
You can go to a state. Being
Um,
ready, like, I don't know. Maybe they.
They got rats.
Well, so did they ever finish the problems with the mice? I heard there was a snake trying to get the mice, and then
A snake
It was a snake. Yes, it was.
trying to get the
It
mice.
was mouse. Yes, it was. Because
which
people throw their trash away.
the mice
People
did.
be going out the door downstairs. Plus it's
Right.
cold, so they trying to find places to stay.
And we buy a lot of places where animals be trying to get away from too.
Really?
Plant fields. You don't see that? They do, like plant fields and stuff. Like them animals be trying to find shelter.
Right.
For sure.
And they come live with us.
But I'm about to say, if I see one, I swear I'm not coming back.
Like a mouse.
I don't
I
even
pay
like
way
it.
too much money to live in.
I'm about to say, I hate bugs and animals. Like I just
They
can't.
had a mouse come to our event. You remember what they gave?
Something
So-
nasty.
Not even a trap.
A sticky trap.
I was about to say.
What?
A sticky trap. Who about to get that mouse off that sticky trap? Y'all better move.
Like seeing them out
I
right
guess
there.
sticky trap. Meanwhile, they gave us Irish Spring soap and put it around our room.
It could be
And but seeing them out there, period, or a mouse running.
that they actually
Man, they don't care.
did what they said they would do.
Because when I moved in, like a couple weeks ago,
Oh, is this your first time in here? Oh, so where did you come from? Where was the?
I went to UT
Okay. How many credits did you transfer? Did you choose social work or, okay. So a lot of, gosh, what was I gonna say? A lot of, the coolest part, were you social work at your other college?
No, it's pre-law.
Okay. Social work and law go hand in hand though. A lot of people do both. For real.
I just had we did mock trial. It was literally like law school and everything. It just wasn't.
It's scary. I did 2 years of law school and dropped out. It's that much reading. After my MSW, I went to law school because I got a full scholarship. That's when I had dyslexia. I'm like, I'm not continuing this. It was miserable. So you have to really want it if you like law. You still can do advocacy and be a lobbyist and do stuff with social work. That's definitely important. So we have pre-law here too. So it could be social work and pre-law. Just learn that way, just making sure to do what you have to, and yeah. So looking at all of the things that we experienced growing up and bringing them in, we do that mainly because it all affects, like carry that stuff with. So you said a car wreck.
Yeah, I got into a car accident when I was 6.
So what do you remember about that?
Like everything, like
Were you hurt? Was it
Yeah.
bad? Was it like
yeah, I
crazy?
almost died.
Damn, see, okay. So that would be, were you scared of cars after that?
No, it's just like for a long time I couldn't like go past the place where I got into a car accident at because it was me and my grandma in the car.
Okay.
But like for a long time, like I couldn't go past like that gas station to where like me and my grandma in the car accident at.
Was your grandma okay?
Yeah, she her knee was just swollen, but like me, so like I had a fractured hairline spine. The seatbelt like cut through my stomach, so like I couldn't leave the hospital until I was able to like, digest food. I had to get surgery on my intestines. I hit my head on the dashboard. I had to get stitches under my eyes.
Does it affect you today?
No.
So what? Seatbelts change if they don't do that?
So like I just wore the seatbelt wrong. Like
Okay.
you're supposed to wear the seatbelt like this.
Yes.
I was just sitting like crisscross
Okay.
applesauce, and the seatbelt was just like this.
So you
So like when I went forward, the seatbelt like literally went through me.
and it cut you for real? Like,
Yeah, like I had to get surgery on my intestines.
so it literally sliced like in, not
Yeah.
I wouldn't even want to get in the car.
I know, right. Yeah, so little
I'm
things
scared
like
now, anyway.
little things like
Cars
that
make
that
me
come
so
up,
crazy.
little things that we struggle with. We get into in this chapter the intelligence piece. So like as kids, well, and imagine if you had one of these tests the day after you have an accident. You got like measuring intelligence or IQ, and you just had that accident or something.
Yeah.
You know, like they might declare like there's problem with stuff or attention deficit or language challenges or maybe. But this is the things that we measure, and children increase cognitive development through learning. So how many days were you in the hospital? Because that's
I was in
also,
the hospital for weeks.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't like leave until I was able to digest food. So like I just had to keep eating, like that's all.
Yeah, it can be. And then have any of you had a good friend pass in a car accident too? Like when I was a senior in high school, I had a friend die. They were driving crazy. They were driving maybe intoxicated even. But, so the different things that we just don't expect to run into. And then, you know, say you're doing that and in charge of caring for your kids and, you know, we attend to that as well as we can. So cognitive development with kids. Here's the first year they, in the first year they manipulate objects to achieve a specific goal. So at 1 month they can follow your face, 5 months they can turn their head to look for a dropped spoon. At 7 months finds partially hidden objects, like you can put something under a cover and you're like, woo, and they know. Before that though, they don't. Like you can like, that's why you can play peekaboo, is they think you actually disappear. Like if you go behind, sometimes if you do that, they think you disappear. Because their brain isn't developed that far yet. So you're like, peekaboo.
It's so funny.
They think it's hilarious because they think you're just like appearing like a ghost. So that's what it looks like. But then by 10 months, they can uncover the toy under the cloth. They start realizing.
So is it the same way for a dog?
Maybe.
I'm saying like that, but like dogs literally act just like humans. Like as
Yeah.
babies, they do the same thing. Like
Right. I
But
can see
vision
that.
wise, you know, it's different. They see black and white. So,
Right.
but everything else, literally the same.
Right. See, now, in terms of being a dog psychologist, I don't have enough info on it, so I would feel afraid to give an
I feel like
answer.
I'm a dog psychologist.
Yeah, but they have that field for sure.
I should do some with dogs. I am.
Are you allowed to own a dog on campus?
I think if you make them a service dog,
That's what I was wondering.
So I asked them if I could have my emotional support, emotional support, and they just gave me a whole lot of information I had to fill out and all that. So I guess you can have emotional support.
You have to make it a ESA.
He's like Dr. V. He's like at the he's like Dr.
I'm gonna get your number file.
Dr. Veach or Dr. Hunt?
I got anxiety bad, so I would love to have my love around me.
Are they in Xenia? Like,
The health center?
oh, it's the one across the street
Yeah.
right here. Okay. Dr. Hunt could make it ESA for you.
I will let Sam know that one.
Emotional support animal. So you like Google the paperwork for a certified ESA.
I would do it.
And I
Because
say, cause don't they already got one dog? They got a dog here.
They do,
but
right.
she's just so fragile, like.
I've noticed that. I like went up to pet her and she was like,
She don't want you to touch her like
I
she's
know, I was
scared.
like, that was today, and the cop was like, ain't nobody gonna hurt you. Like, did somebody beat her once? Like,
I
wonder.
don't know, but it's like they trained her to only be aware of them only and not. I mean, I know they trained her to be aware of other people, but it seems like she only knows them. So if she get around other people, she's frantic.
Yeah, they try to get her into,
Rescue dog, so my old dog.
Right.
was
Yes.
like that. When we first got him, he was not messing with us. Oh my goodness.
Right.
He was so scared. Like if you start yelling, he'll start shaking. He don't like it.
And
yeah.
I say it is a lot
I
of
know.
us too though, so probably do be scared.
Yeah, so it's similar, yes, but we do have a lot of good research on kids. So the names they put out are like the theorists that Piaget is one. So he calls it sensory motor stage. So birth to 2 years, you're learning everything, like how to eat with your hands, how to survive on your own, how to quit pooping your pants, stuff like that. Like simple things and complicated things. How to walk, how to run, how to communicate. So through circular reactions, developing from random reflexes to intentional goal-directed behavior. Like my 2-year-old now is like, I want a snack. Like I want to go downstairs. I want to, instead of crying, they can like make a request. They can like formulate and say, I want to, and whatever it is. So how do we assess learning? And this is something we have a lot of. Do any of you have a minor? I have a student asking about a minor. Like, do we have minors in anything?
What do you mean?
Pre-law is one example. You could minor in pre-law.
I don't know what we have. See my name.
There's not a lot.
I was gonna minor in psychology, but I thought about
Psychology is one of the options for sure.
I was going minor in criminal justice. But I don't want to.
There's probably a lot of work.
I was gonna say, yeah, because my advisor was about to give me criminal justice, and then I was thinking about it like, maybe I should.
Criminal justice is taking on a lot. And quizzes and papers is different. Very.
Mm-hmm.
Cause I used to want to be a detective, but I didn't want to go to being a police officer first. So,
You do have to become a cop, don't you?
Nah, I just
Yeah.
want to major in criminal justice because it got something to do with what I want to do with my life.
Oh yeah, you said you was working
Yeah, I'm gonna be working with prisoners, so.
Right. Yeah.
Did you
So-
want to work with prisoners? I know because you said your mom worked with prisoners. That what made you want to work with them?
It's a good job.
I feel like it probably got something to do with it. Like I've been on visits with my mom and stuff like that, like in her prison, and like I done met all the prisoners. Like I know them, I know their cases, I know like stuff that they be going through in there. So I feel like it probably do got something to do with it. But like it's also like because I do like help people, and I feel like
Prison is really messy. I'm just saying, because true, I thought I wanted to do nursing because my mom was like, she a nurse, but
Then you gotta wipe butts and clean up blood. And
yeah, but I feel like it's like different to like a certain aspect. Like I feel like what I'm gonna be doing, I like helping people. So I feel like, and I feel like slavery, I feel like jail is another form of slavery, and I be like into stuff like that. So I feel like it's just like different. Like I'm actually like doing what I'm doing.
Have you guys watched the
I thought about
13th,
social work. Damn, social work.
the documentary called
A lot.
13th? Have any of you watched the documentary called 13th?
You got something to do with New York?
It doesn't. Let me do the trailer for you. It's interesting actually. When you mention modern day slavery,
It's on Netflix.
it is on Netflix. So here's the 2-minute trailer. But you mentioned
The
modern
Red
day.
State Raiders are home Friday at 9 p.m. versus the Northern Kentucky Norse. The first 1,000 fans receive a free.
Locked up here in the land of the free.
Khalif Browder was walking home from a party when he was stopped by police.
You see it?
I know the story.
The
they said, we're gonna take you to the prison.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
And most likely we're gonna let you go home, and then I never went home.
Yeah, I know about this story.
That was sad.
13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave.
Put this in, and in prison, you can make license plate.
Yeah, prison is literally another form of slavery.
It is. You can make.
Prison is literally another form of slavery.
It is, and that's
It's
just
just
license plate.
your day slavery.
It is, and that's so.
Immediately exploded. What you got after that was a rapid transition to a mythology of Black femininity.
Animals, beasts that need to be controlled.
You better believe.
Only human.
It's virtually impossible for a politician to run and appear soft on crime.
The kinds of kids that are called super predators.
Millions of dollars will be allocated for prison and jail facilities. 3 strikes and you are.
I like that they showed both the left and the right really imposing that kind of criminal, like hard on crime, whatever, because it shows that like no matter what political lean they had, they still keep these words. So you know what the world population is, by chance, anybody? Or how many people in the US equals the world population? So there's 8 billion people in the world. Or how many people in the US equals the world population? So there's 8 billion people in the world. In the US we have 350 million. It's only 5% of the population. But we have a quarter of everyone locked up behind bars here in the US. Even though we're 5% of the world population, we have 1/4 of everybody behind bars, that seems crazy.
That's ridiculous.
Concern of the Black community, but it also violated a sense of core fairness.
States were required to keep these prisons filled, even if nobody was committing crime.
It's so difficult to talk about mass incarceration because it has become heavily monetized. Back in the 1850s.
We are the products of the history that our ancestors chose. Products of that set of choices that we have to understand in order to escape from.
If you haven't seen it, it is on Netflix. It's something to look at because it's definitely. Have you guys ever seen those little GPS monitors? I didn't realize how much damn money they charge you. They put on your ankle. Now they have them that'll test for alcohol all day, every day. So I had a dude who got a DUI and he had to wear it. You pay $10 a day to keep it on. I think it's $300 initially to put it on. So it's $310 a month and $300 to put it on. He has to wear it for a year and a half. They can't even use lotion with any form of alcohol in it because it'll like come up. So anyway, it's definitely, we do need good social workers in prison. Sounds weird, but the social worker that can make it through. But
What you mean?
when I would get clients, Lighthouse would pay me my full-time salary. If I had a client go to the juvenile detention center or prison, I would still go in and visit them in prison. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes they cut, it's like, nope, we don't have a social worker. Private prisons, they're like, nope, we're not paying for education. We're not giving you like,
And I think that's retarded.
no rehab done, no one.
Like, I feel like there's just no way that y'all put people in prison to keep them in prison. Like,
Yeah,
I feel like that should just not be a thing. Like, if I'm going to prison, I should be doing stuff that's like rehabilitation so that when I get out, I'm not liable to go back in. But like, it just be like, white people just be wanting you to, they get you in prison and treat you like trash, and then they just be able to come back. Like, that's stupid.
it is, and that movie documentary 13th illustrates, it shows that there is a money-making component to it. So whenever I have especially 16, 17, 8-year-old boys that I have like as my clients, I'm like, please, whatever you do, just get off of like paper and probation and all that. Because they'll keep you on as long as they can.
Like, so many people in prison that are like in prison over like marijuana and in there for years.
Right.
Over
Yep.
marijuana charges.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely messed up. So last few slides here. So last few slides here, like I said, I'm splitting these into thirds. So like how babies process information. Observe how long an infant will look or fixate on something interesting and not be distracted. Habituation is like they be listen, respond less after it's presented to them, like new toys. So we'll try to get new toys. My wife will lose her mind with 3 kids, and we get them a new toy so that maybe they'll be excited and play with it and not piss her off all day long. Dishabituation is increased responsiveness after a change in stimulus. So babies pay more attention to stimuli they've not seen before, things they've got control over, and events they didn't expect to happen. Habituate to things. It's possible you are bright, like with IQ tests. So, actually, since we are exactly at 2/3 hour, is the assignment still open till like midnight, or is it due? So it's open. Any questions about that before you did it? Getting your family history.
Other than you say stuff.
Correct.
Or it can go up into the grandparent.
Correct. Yeah, like 3 generations. Just try to learn something about you and your living process. And the idea is that when you get clients and you hear their story, like we started the class off.
Anything anyway.
What did you say?
Like we can put anything within our,
Yeah.
birthday and all that stuff.
Like mental disorders, alcoholism, addiction, good things too. I always say like graduate from college, top of the class, or like something that would be exciting, a good successful job. It's like a full inventory of like just life. And knowing us and again, life, our clients in the future, because we're learning their story.
Right.
Now, the video I started the class out with is actually a good 28 minutes long. It's long. And I know, it's almost too much.
It's called class.
Okay.
I be watching them.
Class?
Yes.
But they call different things on different platforms, but
It's kind of, he was talking about different disorders. That movie is great.
Okay.
oh, the movie Glass.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought y'all was talking about that. Oh, the movie Glass.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought y'all was talking about that little thing with the.
Spectrum is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices with our best deal ever. Get Spectrum.
Soft white underbelly is kind of creepy, isn't it? Underbelly is kind of creepy, isn't it?
Yeah, let me get this.
Oh, it's on.
And so, the assignment in this class is to pick a major mental disorder, or how poverty affects development, or food deserts, or some ADHD.
No.
Really bad, like,
It's not even okay.
it's not even funny.
You're saying alcoholism is still as real as it was 1,000
Oh, no,
years
I think
ago.
we the drunkest generation of them all.
Right? Well, think of every commercial you see, like, yeah.
We don't even gotta be a party in the street. They just want
If
drink.
we
It's like a
bored,
feel
I'm about to
good.
get a drink. Oh.
It's a feel-good generation.
You bored, you drunk. What? Like,
I just know I need to go give me a wine to get through.
Right.
what?
Oh, and again, that could be, look on your genogram. If they have it genetically, they could have that where once they start, they can't stop. And
I don't
then
even
they
think it's
do.
genetic.
It just be.
It's worldwide.
So I feel like worldwide where needs are met, you see it more. When I lived in places of extreme poverty, you still see it, but it's harder to get the food. You know what I mean?
I would
So,
say in Chicago, it's like every weekend, it's a party.
yeah.
Don't let it even, and if it's this type of weather,
Yes.
oh yeah,
Yes.
go down.
Well, March Madness is coming up. St. Patrick's Day Parade is coming
Spring
up.
break.
The rivers turn green on St. Patrick's Day. That might be.
People don't even be caring about that no more.
Wait, the river
St. Patrick's Day is like Chicago.
They right.
Yeah.
So do we want to watch this trailer, or are you guys
Yes.
done? I don't even know what this is. Looks interesting.
It's amazing to me. It is simply extraordinary.
Is she the sick one?
Maybe this will all make sense, and I'm a psychiatrist. My work concerns a particular type of delusion of grandeur. It's a growing field. I specialize in those individuals who believe they are superheroes.
You crazy.
He's such a good
The three of you have convinced yourselves you
Have you seen Bruce? He actually is like gone. He's alive but gone.
What
Like
you mean?
the white dude brainwashed. It's demented.
I actually like mess him up.
I don't know. So there's also stuff coming out about the vaccine, whether people are getting messed up by that too. So is it just fake and like fake news, or does the vaccine?
I won't lie, I got the vaccine when I first got out. I think, what was the first one? Like,
So you think they're examining it for whatever
no,
reason?
I was actually, I forgot the name of it. It was the very first one he was saying, right?
Moderna or Johnson and Johnson?
Johnson. That was the one I got. It was the first one I got. And I was saying, my emotions be out the roof. Like,
Really?
versus my, like, when I think about my freshman year.
They put out.
David Dunn, the only person to survive that train wreck all those years ago. What do you do?
I'm in security.
You think you have superpowers.
Really? Vision. I have to touch them.
You believe you are a protector.
My name's Patricia.
I have no question. There are 2 dozen identities
I'm Larry Reynolds. What up, man? Senor, we almost got you, bro.
that live in that body with you.
The beast is coming any minute now for you guys.
But what I am questioning is your belief.
And yet, it is true. I've owned break-ins. I've hit 94 breaks in my life.
But you have an extraordinary IQ.
This is not a cartoon. This is the real world. No way. And yet, some of us still don't die with bullets. Some of us still bend steel. And still bend steel. I've been waiting for the world to see that we exist. May I meet the beast? I have for your sake that he likes you. That sounds like the bad guys teaming up. I don't really. What do you call yourself? First name, last name, class.
Oh, well, I know during the pandemic some of them didn't come out, but okay, interesting. So it's have you guys seen like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest or Rain Man, or those are like the classics where they show mental disorders. They're probably free on YouTube at this point, but Jack Nicholson from The Shining, right? So anyway, that is the one major presentation we have here. Is you pick a major mental health disorder, anorexia, bulimia,
Slideshow.
PowerPoint. Yeah. Yep.
I like my PowerPoint.
The only written thing,
Can we do a slideshow?
PowerPoint. Yeah.
PowerPoint.
Yep.
I like my PowerPoint.
The only written thing is the final paper, and that's actually done life and what made you who you are today. So it's kind of
How long is the paper?
it's like 6
what?
6 chapters, like my dissertation.
Oh, 6 pages. That's a lot of.
Right. Impoverished folks to overall development, whichever way you want to spin it, it's fine.
Yeah, because when you talking about yourself, I promise you, it don't be that much to say.
We'll look at the end of the syllabus. We'll go over it.
Especially
But
in your stuff.
I be
Especially
like, I ain't
for like-
like, I'm making up
You
stuff
don't
now.
want to- yeah.
it's 4. Yeah, we got 4 things: genogram, like ego map, which is almost the same, but it's like what is your day spent like throughout the week? What do you do? Work, school, different things, sleep. You know, helps you things of that nature, and also then the final paper is it's called what I just described. So it's in the syllabus. I'll pull it up for y'all next time. So any other questions about anything?
Nope.
My wife said the kids follow her everywhere. She can't even pee, and she has one of them like sitting in the bathtub, like painting on the wall, drawers, and
She better start locking the door. Running
yes,
and locking the door behind her. So.
yes. these asshole toddlers keep pulling each other's hair and pissing me off. So, yeah, those of you, who wanted to have the most kids and who wanted to have these kids in here?
Probably want one kid.
A middle child.